Have you ever felt like a ghost in your own life? A phantom of pleasantries gliding through rooms, ensuring everyone is comfortable, yet completely invisible yourself? You are the reliable one, the steady hand, the listening ear. You have perfected the art of being present for others, but in the process, a chilling realization dawns upon you. You are no longer present for yourself. You have been taught a beautiful, devastating lie that your worth is measured by your accessibility. That to be good is to be available, to be loved is to be accommodating. And so you have become a masterpiece of compliance, a walking sanctuary where others offload their burdens, their anxieties, their chaos. They leave feeling lighter while you absorb the weight, a silent transaction you were never taught to question. This isn't a virtue, it is a slow erasure of the self. Your constant availability has not made you more loved, it has made you more useful, a tool, a resource. And like any resource that is perceived as infinite, you are taken for granted. The world doesn't have to earn your attention, so it never learns to value it. Carl Jung called this the persona, the mask we present to the world to be accepted. For many of us, that mask is one of unwavering agreeableness and perpetual support. But beneath that mask, your true self, your authentic soul, is slowly suffocating. It is exhausted from nodding when it wants to scream, from typing "I'm here for you" when it is desperate for someone to be there for it, from holding space for everyone but itself. But what if this profound exhaustion is not a weakness? What if it is a signal? A desperate message from the depths of your being telling you that the game is rigged and the only way to win is to stop playing? What if the most powerful, transformative, and courageous act you could perform is to simply withdraw? To become unavailable. Not as an act of aggression, but as an act of sacred reclamation. Because when you stop being a constant presence for the world, you finally create the space to become present for yourself. And in that space, everything changes. Before we can understand the power of withdrawal, we must first grasp what you are losing with every automatic yes, every unwanted interaction, every moment you spend reacting instead of choosing. It isn't just time or energy in a vague sense. It is the most valuable, non-renewable resource you possess, your psychic energy, or what we might more simply call your focused consciousness. Think of your attention as the gold of your psyche. It is the light with which you illuminate your world. Where you direct it, things grow. What you withdraw it from withers. Unlike money, it cannot be easily replenished. An hour of your focused presence given away to a pointless argument or to soothe an ego that will never be satisfied, is an hour of your life's creative and vital force gone forever. Jung viewed the human psyche as a relatively closed energy system. Your vitality, your ability to think clearly, to feel deeply, to create, to love, it all depends on this finite supply of psychic energy. Now look at your daily life. It has been engineered to fracture this focus and siphon this energy. The endless notifications on your phone, each one a tiny pickpocket of your attention. The social pressure to have an immediate opinion on everything. The emotional labor of managing the feelings of those around you. You are living in a state of perpetual psychic hemorrhage. You react to a provocative comment online and you bleed energy. You justify your choices to someone who has no right to question them, and you bleed energy. You ruminate for hours over a slight, replaying conversations in your mind, and you bleed energy. People who live in a state of chronic emotional exhaustion are not weak. They are simply unguarded. They have left the gates of their inner citadel wide open, and the world has plundered their treasury. An exhausted psyche becomes a vulnerable psyche. It loses its discernment. It cannot distinguish between a genuine request for connection and a manipulative bid for attention. When you are running on empty, your no muscle atrophies. You agree to things that violate your peace because the energy required to set a boundary feels greater than the energy lost in simply complying. This is the trap. Your depletion makes you more compliant, and your compliance deepens your depletion. It is a vicious cycle that leaves you feeling scattered, anxious, and hollowed out. You're not just tired, you're fragmented. You have become a collection of reactions to external stimuli rather than a cohesive being acting from an internal center of power. This isn't happening by accident. It is a silent global economy of attention, And in this economy, your depletion is someone else's profit. It's time to declare bankruptcy on that system. Opportunistic and emotionally immature people are masters of this economy. They don't need to be loud or aggressive to control you. Their manipulation is far more subtle, more insidious. They operate not through force, but by placing you in a state of perpetual emotional debt. They have learned that your desire to be a good person is the very key to your cage. Here is how the architecture works. They project their needs, their insecurities, and their unresolved chaos onto you. Jung's concept of projection is crucial here. They are not seeing you. They are seeing a solution to their own inner turmoil. You are the rescuer, the validator, the emotional sponge. You become an outpost for their shadow, the part of themselves they refuse to acknowledge. Your role is to carry the anxiety they won't face, to provide the validation they cannot give themselves, to absorb the negativity they generate. Think of the friends who only appears during a crisis, framing their constant drama in a way that makes you feel obligated to help. Think of the family member who uses guilt like a currency, reminding you of past favors to ensure future compliance. Think of the partner who praises your strength, but subtly sabotages your independence because your self-sufficiency threatens their control. They are not relating to you. They are using you as an emotional utility. The most effective manipulation is silent. It's the pause in a conversation that makes you rush to fill it with reassurance. It's the subtle look of disappointment that triggers your deep-seated fear of abandonment. It's the praise that is conditional upon your continued service. They have trained you to anticipate their needs, to feel responsible for their happiness, to believe that setting a boundary would be an act of cruelty. So how do you identify these dynamics? There is one infallible test. Observe what happens when you gently withdraw. The moment you stop being instantly available, the architecture of manipulation is exposed. The moment you say, "No, I can't right now," or simply remain silent, the mask of affection slips and you see the face of the user. The reaction is predictable. First comes confusion, then irritation, then they will escalate. They might accuse you of being selfish, cold, or having changed. They will manufacture a crisis to pull you back into your role as the savior. They will deploy guilt, drama, and passive aggression. This is not a sign that you have done something wrong. It is the clearest possible sign and that you have done something right. You have disrupted their energy supply and their system is going into shock. They are not angry because they miss you. They are angry because they have lost control over you. How do you dismantle this architecture? You do not fight it. You do not argue with it. You do not try to explain your position. To do so is to remain engaged in their game, on their terms. You dismantle it by rendering it irrelevant. You do this by reclaiming your energy and building an inner world so strong that their projections can no longer find a surface to stick to. You do this with the most misunderstood and underestimated power in the human arsenal: silence. In a world that screams for attention, silence is an act of rebellion. We have been taught to fear it. Silence in a conversation feels like failure. Your own silence feels like weakness or passivity. But this is a profound misunderstanding. Strategic, conscious silence is not an absence. It is a presence so powerful it can alter reality. It is a shield, a statement, and a mirror. When you refuse to react to provocation, your silence creates a vacuum. The person trying to bait you has thrown a ball, expecting you to catch it. When you let it fall to the ground, they are left standing alone with their own aggression. Their energy has nowhere to go but back to them. When you meet a manipulative demand, not with an argument, but with quiet, unwavering stillness, you are not being passive. You are holding your ground. Your silence says, "I will not participate in this drama. I will not be pulled into your chaos. My peace is not for sale." This is terrifying for someone who relies on your reactivity to feel powerful. Your silence robs them of their narrative control. As long as you are explaining and defending yourself, you are still playing their game. When you go silent, you take the chessboard off the table. Jung believed that true self-knowledge, the process of individuation, requires this kind of psychological distancing. You must create a space between the world's stimulus and your response. In that space lies your freedom and your power. Silence is that space. It is the laboratory where you can finally hear yourself think. You begin to observe the patterns, both in others and in yourself. You see the hooks, the triggers, the emotional games that were invisible when you were caught up in the noise of constant reaction. But be warned, the world will not celebrate your newfound stillness. Your silence will be interpreted as an attack by those who benefited from your noise. They will call you cold, arrogant, uncaring. Why? Because your silence is a mirror. It reflects back to them everything they were trying to project onto you. Your calm reflects their chaos. Your stability reflects their neediness. Your refusal to engage reflects their desperation for control. It forces them into the one place they have been trying to avoid, themselves. And this is the price of your liberation. To reclaim your energy, you must be willing to be misunderstood. You must find the strength to withstand the discomfort your newfound peace creates in others. You must understand that their reaction is not a verdict on your character, it is a confession of their dependence. The more you mature psychologically, the more economical you become with your words. You realize that your truth is a sacred thing, and not everyone has earned the right to hear it. Silence becomes your sovereignty. It is the language of those who have nothing to prove. Understanding this intellectually is the first step, but it is useless without embodiment. True transformation happens when this knowledge travels from your head to your bones, when it informs your actions. It begins with the sacred and often terrifying practice of setting boundaries. It begins with relearning the word no. Conscious unavailability is not about building a wall around your heart. It is about placing a gatekeeper at the entrance to your soul, a gatekeeper who is discerning, loyal to you, and understands that your inner resources are finite and precious. This practice starts with small, deliberate actions. The pause before you reply to a text. You do not owe anyone an instant response. That pause is you reclaiming your time, letting the phone ring when you do not have the capacity to talk. Your peace is more important than their perceived urgency. Replacing an immediate yes with "let me think about it and get back to you." This gives you space to consult your own needs. Saying "I don't have the emotional bandwidth for this right now" without a lengthy apology. It is a statement of fact, not an excuse. Leaving a conversation that is becoming toxic or circular, you can simply say, "I'm not going to continue this discussion," and walk away. Here is the most critical element. You do not need to justify your boundaries. A no is a complete sentence. Every explanation you give is an attempt to manage the other person's reaction, to soften the blow, to seek their approval for your own self-preservation. This is a remnant of the old programming. When you refuse to justify, you take back your power. You are stating that your decision is not up for debate. The world, conditioned to your compliance, will protest. It will test your resolve. This is the detoxification period. You will be flooded with feelings of guilt, a sensation engineered by a lifetime of conditioning that taught you that your needs come second. You must learn to sit with this guilt and not act on it. Recognize it for what it is, a phantom of your old self, the ghost of a role you are no longer willing to play. Those who truly care for you will adapt. They will learn to respect the new terms of engagement. Those who were only there for what you provided will fade away. This is not a loss. It is a filtration. Each time you honor a boundary, you are casting a vote for yourself. Every no to what drains you is a thunderous yes to your own soul. You are teaching yourself and the world how you are to be treated. This is the active work of individuation. You are no longer a vague, undefined territory for others to colonize. You are becoming a sovereign nation with clear borders and a deep respect for your own internal landscape. So, you have answered the call. You have chosen to stop being a mirror, endlessly reflecting the needs and neuroses of others, and have embarked on the path to becoming the source of your own light. What happens now? The world does not fall away. The noise does not cease to exist. Instead, you change in relation to it. Your very presence in the world is fundamentally altered. To become the source of your own light is not to become a blazing, performative sun that demands attention. It is to become a lighthouse, A lighthouse does not chase after ships, screaming for them to see its beam. It does not worry about the boats that choose to navigate by other stars or those that crash upon the rocks in defiance of its warning. It does not dim its light for fear of being too bright for some, nor does it strain to shine brighter for those far out at sea. It simply is. It stands on its own foundation, rooted in the earth, and sends its signal out into the darkness, a steady, reliable, and unapologetic presence. This is the nature of your new existence. Your energy, once scattered in 1,000 reactive directions, is now gathered within you. It forms a core of quiet coherence and inner alignment that people can feel. This is energetic integrity. It's the state where your thoughts, your words, your actions, and your soul are all in symphony. You are no longer at war with yourself, no longer saying yes when your body is screaming no. This internal peace radiates outward. You will notice a peculiar thing. Without saying a word, you will command a different kind of respect. People will pause before they interrupt you. They will think twice before offloading their unfiltered drama onto you. They sense on a primal level that they are in the presence of someone with solid ground beneath their feet. They can no longer find the familiar cracks in your facade, the little hooks of guilt and obligation they once used to gain purchase. Your wholeness becomes a natural boundary, more powerful than any wall you could have consciously erected. You do not need to announce your boundaries anymore. You are the boundary. This is not about being untouchable or aloof. It is about being anchored. And from this anchor, you can engage with the world with unprecedented clarity and purpose, choosing where to direct your light, not as a reaction to need, but as a conscious act of creation. From the tower of your inner lighthouse, your perception of the world undergoes a profound shift. You begin to see the invisible architecture you were once trapped within. It is like waking from a dream and seeing the strings that were attached to all the figures, including yourself. You observe the intricate dance of manipulation, the silent pleas for validation, the frantic energy of egos vying for control. But now you see it not with cynicism or anger, but with a new kind of vision, compassionate detachment. Before you were enmeshed, you mistook the anxiety of others for your own responsibility. Their crises became your emergencies. This is not empathy, it is energetic contagion. True empathy, you now realize, is the ability to understand and witness another's feeling without becoming consumed by it. From your sovereign space, you can look upon the struggles of others and offer genuine compassion, a clean and powerful energy, because it is not tainted by your own need to be needed. You can sit with a friend in their sorrow, offering your full undivided presence, a rare and precious gift, without absorbing their pain into your own body. You can listen to a colleague's complaint without feeling compelled to solve their problem. You are able to offer a far greater service now. Instead of providing a temporary fix that enables their dysfunction, your steady presence silently encourages them to find their own strength. Your refusal to rescue them is the highest form of respect. It is a testament to your belief in their own capacity to navigate their own seas. This is a difficult kindness, and one that the world, addicted to quick fixes and codependent dynamics, may not understand. You will be accused of not caring as much as you used to. The truth is you care more, but you now care from a place of wisdom, not from a place of wounding. You care enough to let people have their own experiences, to trust in their journey, and to hold a space of unwavering belief in their potential rather than rushing in to pave their way. You have escaped the matrix of need and can now act as a guide, not another prisoner. As you embody this new way of being, your social landscape will inevitably transform. The filtration process that began when you first withdrew continues, but now it is less about loss and more about clarification. Your life is no longer cluttered with transactional relationships, connections based on utility, obligation, or shared trauma. The silence left by their absence creates a space for something far more profound to enter: resonance. Resonance is the principle of like attracting like on an energetic level. As you operate from a frequency of self-possession, peace, and authenticity, you will naturally begin to attract others who vibrate at a similar frequency. These are not connections of need, but connections of recognition. You see your own light reflected in their eyes and they in yours. These new relationships have a different texture. They are spacious. There is no frantic clinging, no scorekeeping, no fear of silence. Each person is a sovereign being responsible for their own happiness and fulfillment. Love and friendship are no longer about what you can get from the other, but about the joy of witnessing another soul unfold. It is a communion, not a contract. In these resonant connections, you can be your whole self. You can share your darkness without fear that it will be used against you, and celebrate your light without fear of inciting jealousy. The other person is not your project and you are not theirs. There is a deep unspoken respect for each other's solitude and inner world. This is the difference between a relationship that drains you and one that nourishes you. The first is based on filling a void. The second is based on two whole beings sharing their abundance. You will find that you can love more deeply and generously than ever before because your love is not a desperate bid for self-worth. It is an overflow of the love you have cultivated for yourself. You give freely without expectation of return because you are already full. This is the true community that awaits you on the other side of self-reclamation, a tribe not bound by blood or proximity, but by the shared frequency of sovereign souls. To live as the source of your own light is to finally understand that your primary purpose is not to please others, to fix the world, or to achieve a certain status. Your primary purpose is the courageous and continuous act of being yourself. Your life ceases to be a series of reactions and becomes a conscious creation. The energy you once bled out defending your borders and managing external chaos is now yours to command. This is the fuel for your life's true work. Perhaps it is art or innovation or raising a family with consciousness. Perhaps it is cultivating a garden or mastering a skill or simply living a life of quiet integrity. The form does not matter. What matters is that it is an expression of your unique essence, emerging from the depths of your being, not from the demands of the world. You have walked through the fire of being misunderstood and have emerged into the serene landscape of self-knowledge. You have learned that your own shadow, the selfishness and coldness you were once accused of, was merely the guardian of your sacred inner space, the protector of your creative fire. By embracing it, you have become whole. The journey does not end. There is no final destination called enlightenment. There's only the continuous, beautiful, and sometimes challenging process of tending to your inner lighthouse, keeping its lamp clean and its fuel stocked. There is the quiet joy of watching the sun rise on your own inner world and the profound peace of knowing that no matter how dark the night or how stormy the sea, you have a light within you that can never be extinguished. It was there all along. You just had to come home to it. Your life is now your canvas, your symphony, your masterpiece. Begin.